to the Ramon Foster Show, and a very special Ramon Foster Show at that. It's all about all of Ramon's love for the New England franchise. What's up, Moan? How's your Friday?
DK, I thought we were having a good day here today, okay?
We're about to.
Screw those guys, okay?
Exactly, and that's what's going to make it a good Friday. I got to say that there's a special distinction I've noticed over the years with you players. Yeah. And that is that the AFC North hate is over here.
Yeah.
And the New England hate is over here, but they have their own levels of authenticity, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Okay. The AFC North hate has respect to it. It has a reason behind it. It has a into the means of it too. Okay, right?
Oh,
that's what it is, right? Even with Cleveland and Cincinnati, like I get it. We hate y'all because y'all want to be us. Okay, with Baltimore, I hate y'all because I respect you and you get us and we get you. That 3-point mystique is real.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That's
like where this is going. Go ahead.
That's like neighborhood fights and stuff. Okay.
Right.
What we have over here in New England is essentially that. Okay. It's America and Germany. Okay. It's World War II. Exactly what this is. All right. You see what I'm saying? Like it's bigger than the neighborhood is what I'm telling you.
You mean if Germany had cheated?
Well, Germany did a lot of stuff. Okay. Let's not just go there. Okay. That's what I'm telling you.
Tell me a wrap for everything today. Thanks for watching, folks.
You came here for this content, so you're going to get this. I can say this now as a former player. Okay. I had to buffer myself when I was talking to you and everybody else.
I know.
Hate is a word. Okay. Like I like the players. I hate everything that New England represents though, okay? Simply because they were good, okay? They were Tom, and then just the smugness of whatever they were. It was one of them things like, DK, if this wasn't a family network, you get the other me, okay? And I'm almost channeling that dark Ramon, okay? We don't want to go there. But what I'm telling you is riding into that doggone stadium and seeing those people like, oh, golly, I hate this place. And not just that, their crowd of smugness and just disdain for anything around them. I'm just like, the rumors we heard about y'all are probably more true than not, right? Mm-hmm. Like you actually got caught with cameras and images of you snapping like signals and signs. Like, I don't know how true the deflate gate was, but it was real. The tuck rule was because of y'all too. You have scandal after scandal, and here we are again watching you win. Like, and maybe it was us. Maybe they were just that good and they caught us slipping at the wrong times, but we'd always be without somebody, okay? Or we'd have to go to their place.
Or they'd get hurt in mid-game. That was another thing that would happen all the time.
Or DK, it's always this. I've talked to guys damn near on 31 other teams, okay? 30, excluding us two Patriots and the Steelers. And almost every single one of them, you know what they say about playing New England in New England? Man, I hate going to that place. Every single one of them. I've never met anybody that enjoys going there. There's always the mysterious fire alarm pulling, okay? There was a fire in the kitchen. I think the last AFC game we had. A fire in the kitchen, DK. Evacuating the room at 11 o'clock in the morning. We don't really have to do anything else till later in the day. It may have been earlier than that, maybe 9, 10 in the morning. How does a fire happen in the kitchen, DK, at our hotel? Okay, but it's just that aspect of it. And their methods of waiting for you to make a mistake and pouncing and stuff then. So, again, I blame them and I have hate for them, but maybe it was a little bit of us. I'm not going to be that cynical to say, well, it was all them. Like, we probably had something to do with it too.
Yeah, there's no question, especially when you get into the runs toward the AFC Championship game and so forth and everything like that. I know this. The current edition of the New England Patriots doesn't excite anybody except for the guy I'm talking to.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a good team. I mean, I'm not sitting here. I'm not making some kind of goofy prediction or anything else for Sunday here. But I don't think anybody, whether they win Sunday or not, I don't think anybody looks at the Patriots and says, oh, yeah, now there's a team.
No, you're not saying that when it comes down to him, man. Your quarterback got back spasms. Oh, that sucks. Hope he's okay on Sunday. Not. Like, that's my feeling, okay? You can't really score because you hired a defensive coordinator as your offensive coordinator.
They did do that, or offensive line or something. It was something
Patricia
messed up. Yeah.
He has a major role on that team. Like, I'm sorry. Sucks for you. You can't find playmakers now because Tom Brady's not there. Nobody wants to come play with Mac Jones, who went to Alabama, so it's double hate there. That sucks for you. But just in general, though, they lose 20-7 last weekend. And of course, Tyreek Hill has a really good weekend against them. They ran all over him. Well, they didn't run all over him. They had a good day and they lost a divisional game, man. This isn't the New England Patriots of years past. I don't know if they're in a rebuild. They trade off a bunch of guys. They ended up getting guys back on their team, man. Trent Brown. They traded off Pro Bowl guards, and Shaq Mason. It's just a different team. Again, I've always had that conversation. Who was it? Was it Bill or was it Brady? And the more I look back at it, I'm almost thinking it was more Brady than it was Bill, because Bill can't do what he wants to if he doesn't have that guy at quarterback, man. And of course, that fan base ate it up for damn near 2 decades, if I'm not mistaken. And I just wonder how deep and how passionate that fan base is today.
We're going to find out, I have a feeling, on Sunday, because if they start separating, if they haven't already, the difference between what Belichick contributed and then what Brady contributed, and they see Brady continuing to just win in Tampa, everybody has an expiration date, even the greatest coach in NFL history. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%, man. And I give a lot of credit to him. It took a special type of person to go find a guy like that, because a lot of people scathe over that 6th round draft pick that he was, as far as Tom Brady goes. But if you look at their team and you say to yourself, what is y'all identity? They don't have one. They don't have that guy that's very meticulous as far as breaking guys down and look, I need you to run this specific route at this specific pace. Or there's a matchup and they have that slot wide receiver that could break linebackers and slot corners down. Like, they don't have that right now. Their defense, of course, isn't what it was in years past. And one of my best friends in this world, when it was in my wedding, Gerard Mayo, he's co-defensive coordinator. I'm rooting for him. That's the only person I'm rooting for in that friggin' room, man. But they come to Heinz Field. DK, listen to me. The fan base is going to be there. Heckle, okay? Get under them. They had their run. We've seen enough of this. I'm over it. I promise you, I saw a guy in the airport as I was leaving Pittsburgh this past weekend. Guess what he had on, DK? He had on a friggin' random Pittsburgh Patriots jersey with an Alabama hat. If that's not a front runner, I don't know what is, man. Respect what they did as winning, because it was a dominant regime. But now guess what? The pendulum swings, and I hope Pittsburgh drops 48 on them this weekend.
When we come back on the Ramon Foster Show, Inside Linebackers. Welcome back to the Ramon Foster Show. A very popular subject over the summer was the inside linebacker crew, meaning, of course, Myles Jack, but to a much, much greater extent, Devin Bush, and to a lot lesser extent, Robert Spillane. What'd you think?
Man, I thought they did well. Let's start with Devin Bush, man. Him being able to make plays side to side, I thought was something that needed to happen. Just face it. He's not the physical guy, okay? He's not going to be that guy that you saw Larry Foote be or James Ferrier be. You know, that's not his style of play. Even Shazier, he's the guy that will alligator tackle you more than anything. Grab your legs, wrap and roll. You know, that's his role. But seeing Myles Jack come downhill was really good. Although, like I said at the beginning of the week, there were some missed tackles. There were some missed gaps that they got to go hit. Myles Jack has got to lead the charge if Rob Spillane is with him going into that line of scrimmage and making those hard tackles. That's something that's got to happen. Dev was more out than he was in as far as his play snaps go, man. So if he's the guy that I hope he sees himself is, as far as being on the field, making plays, being a guy that's always on the field in key situations, then I hope he really finds himself and say, all right, I'm a Pittsburgh Steeler. Let me go be a 3-down type of guy. But as of right now, DK, I'm not seeing it. And I do hold a whole lot of respect and expectation for a guy who's an NFL legacy like Devin Bush is.
Can't be stated strongly enough that this team essentially, other than one play, shut down Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
And they did so with 2 down linemen and a whole lot of DBs. And when Myles Jack ends up with 10 tackles and D. Bush ends up with 5, you know that those guys are in there. We weren't talking about missed tackles. Now, there were a couple of times where somebody juked this way and somebody juked the other way. It happened once to Devin. But overall, Moan, I just got to tell you, I really feel like, to an extent, as crazy as this will sound, you can gauge off of a post-game interview how someone did. And I talked with Devin after the game quite a bit. He was sitting by himself over in one of those darker corners in that locker room in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I said, "How'd you feel?" And he looks up at me and he goes, "Did you see that?"
Yeah.
And I go, "Are we talking about the side to side and the screen passes and so forth?" Because that's what he eats up. You're right. Everyone has a strength. Mm-hmm. And the modern inside linebacker is not James Ferrier, Lawrence Timmons, Hardy Nickerson, or whatever, okay? It's not. It's that guy who can take away the screen pass. Yep. Use Devin for what he's good at. Use Jack for what he's good at. Use Spillane for what he's good at. And maybe you got something, don't you?
And that's why we're going to go next, DK. Well, is this a method that we're going to have to be okay with, or going to be okay with too? You know, and I'll say this: if you're putting Rob Spillane in, it's probably 2nd and 3, 3rd and 1 type of situations. I'm not sure if open field, maybe tight red zone.
Sometimes they had him out there on 3rd down, which I really didn't understand. But whatever.
Well, you know, maybe
again above my pay grade.
Okay. For sure. But looking at Spillane though, and I mean, looking at Devin Bush, played 51% of the snaps as far as him being out on the field, man. I thought it was a good showing. And the fact that he lit up like a light bulb, DK, when you brought that up to him, lets you kind of know, like, okay, he knows that he
wanted
needs
to talk about it. He wanted to talk about it. That's the thing.
To be fair, now again, if we can get on him, if we can, more people pile onto him, fine. But sometimes a guy just need a spark. Maybe, okay, start with 1 is probably what happened. Now we go into this Patriots game. Okay, let's get 2. And then we start stacking games. The confidence goes up and he starts making more plays. But never going to make excuse for anything. But you got to kind of say to yourself, the fact that he lit up like that lets you know that he's aware of where he's at.
It's a step. That was what I said about Devin Bush after that game, is it's a step. It's not all the way. It's not 10th overall pick. It's not trade up to get him.
No.
It's a step, and it's a step very much in the right direction.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, and just to be clear too, Devin Bush played 51 snaps. Rob Spillane played 51, and Myles Jack ended up logging, I think, like 87 plays too. So you see what a distribution is, and you also still see the importance of Devin Bush. So I don't know if you want to bury him, because he's a guy you still got to use.
No question about that. When we come back, the only segment that matters.
A Friday, Hey Mon.
Welcome back to the Ramon Foster Show. It's time for the only segment that matters, and that's the Hey Mon segment, brought to you by the Get Go Cafe and Market, where it's all about quality. 3 expert chefs fine-tune every detail so that every sub and burger and salad and wrap and drink and appetizer gets made with fresh ingredients and always tastes amazing. Order your favorites at the Get Go Cafe and Market today. Better believe it. And here comes Hey Mon from Jerome Bridge. And this might as well have been accompanied by little flame balls between every word, because Jerome is in a mood. You ready?
Yeah, let's lock in. I'm ready.
Hey Moan, don't back down talk about Mike Tomlin and Matt Canada. They're accountable. They better step up their game. Tomlin and Canada need to put on their own black Air Force Ones. Hey Moan, we need an answer. Jerome was so pumped he gave you 2 Hey Moans to emphasize his point.
Appreciate it, Jerome, man. Let's just say this, man. What need do we have to have to kind of bash Coach T and Canada during the season if it wasn't egregiously wrong? That's what I'm asking for. Coach Tomlin set the precedent for this weekend, man, as far as, and I was just looking at it like, okay, where are we going with this? But the black Air Force Ones. I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, that's good enough in itself. You look at the way you go in a hostile environment the way Pittsburgh did this past weekend and pull out a win against one of the lead favorites when it comes down to the Super Bowl, and that's the Cincinnati Bengals. Like, there's a lot to be said about that. You put guys in a really good situation as far as executing. I actually thought, can I say this out loud to you guys? I didn't think there was much wrong with what the play calling was. I thought decisions to go for it whenever they did was good. I thought the guys that were able to make the plays, they did. I mean, you look at Mitch scrambling and trying to find places to go with the ball. I didn't have much wrong with it. I thought the second time around, they went to the well a little bit too much or too soon with the end around with Chase. But when Jaylen Warren led on that block later in the game, I was like, okay, that's a good place to be at. It wasn't much wrong. Now, you look at it and say, all right, you call the plays, you got to execute them. Not getting a push up front or running backs running into darkness, that's on them. Guys not catching the ball when necessary, that's on the player. The admission of sending a play in, I didn't have anything wrong with it, DK.
An NFL head coach has a lot of responsibility, a lot of expectations on what they're supposed to do. Number one, with a bullet and a half, is to have their team ready.
Yes.
One head coach out of those two had his team ready. The other one was resting starters in the preseason. The other one very clearly had no idea what was going to hit his offense on the opening bleeping drive.
No.
Okay?
No.
So that, to me, takes any minutia that you want to say about the head coach, and heaven knows I'm critical of him.
Yeah.
And just move that off to the side. Now, who's been like Matt Canada's number one critic?
You.
Okay. And I am here to say that I liked a lot of the schemes that I saw, in particular in the first half.
Yeah.
Now, what ends up happening? Team gets the 17-3 lead.
Yeah.
The head coach says to his coordinator, that's it. No more risks. We're not turning the ball over.
Defense playing well.
Head coach says, my defense is going to win this game. It takes 5 full quarters, but he ends up being right. You can't get on the head coach. You can't get on the coordinator for what the offense did in this game. You just can't. And believe me, I want to.
It's easy to. Yeah.
But I can't.
And I just want to know, Jerome, and I'm not being, I'm not being a contrarian to you when I say this. I'm not coming at you. I'm just asking, what do you want? What more do you want from it? What do you want me to say about him? I don't mind calling somebody out. Right is right and wrong is wrong. I saw those guys this past week, and it was good to actually be face to face with them. And I said, look, if I'm wrong, you come at me. I told him the way we do this show here is we speak on what we see and what we know about it. I'm not going to sell you no fairy tale or gaslight you to say Coach Tomlin deserved to be fired or Matt Canada sucked. Like this past weekend, I couldn't say it. Player plays, that was on them.
And one thing that seems to surprise people, I noticed in the feedback that we get to this show, is that when we'll say something bad about somebody or their performance or whatever, and then when they do well, we'll say something good about it, and they go, hang on, I thought you were anti this or pro that or whatever. I mean, that's juvenile stuff, man.
Yeah.
Okay, who's been riding Kevin Dotson for a year and a half? Right here.
You have. You have.
Who's been going to bat for him all week long? Why?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's performing better because he's showing signs on and off the field of being a guy. What am I going to do? Keep burying him? So what? So I can show people that I was right a year ago or right, whatever that means? No, thanks, man.
People get their rocks off with that. And in my short time in this industry, I've realized some people want to stoke that fire for their own means and good. Like this won't be that. We're going to tell you exactly what it is.
It's not complex. Whatever it is that you're thinking, if it's fair, it's responsible, it's backed with information, it's backed with things that you see and you believe, and you just say it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. It's not about vendettas or pro this or anti that or whatever else here. So I don't know what you're mad about, Jerome, here, but we're not mad back. Right, Moan?
No. Let me know what you want me to say, and I'll be your robot for you. I promise.
That's by the way, one of my favorite things that I get from people is when you see Tomlin, go ask him this.
I will.
You know?
I will.
But it's like, that's just not how the whole reporter thing
that
works.
is how it works. That's one way for us not to get sideline passes, DK.
Oh, my God. Anyway, Moan, what do you got for the game?
I got the Steelers. Okay.
Let's have a score.
Let's go. Mitch wants to be aggressive, man. At home opener. I go 24. They'll end up doing something silly, man. Let's go 24-17.
Oh, okay. We'll keep it a little bit tight.
Yeah, we'll keep it tight just because it's home. They lost bad this past weekend, and they'll adjust unless they knock their quarterback out.
Which
Mac
is now
Jones.
that makes it a completely different game. I'm going with the Steelers in part because of Jones's. I was about to say fragility. That sounds mean, but he's in a suspect spot. Back injuries are not something where you just wake up one day and go, "Hey, it's awesome." No. So I'm taking the Steelers as well. I'll take them by a little bit bigger. I'll take them by 10. So anyway, let's do it again on Monday. Let everybody know what we actually think.
And grades, maybe
grades too, just for Jerome. A coaching and an offensive coordinator grade just for Jerome.
I'm not doing that one. Nope.